want to discuss this notion of giving information to the dog. So that's something that I will hear often, and if I'm hearing it or seeing it coming up, then there's a good chance that you're seeing that information or that coming up as well. We're giving information to the dog. So one of the things that I see often is the use when we're using slip leads to correct the dog, like a choke chain, or we're using a prong collar, or we're using an electric collar. That it gives information to the dog, okay, and it absolutely does give information to the dog, but that's not enough. That's not enough of an explanation. The question that I think we need to be coming up with immediately after that is, what information does it give to the dog and how? Okay, so one of the things that we'll say is, if the prong collar is round the dog's neck, or the slip lead is round the dog's neck, and we pull on the collar, it gives information to the dog about what we want them to do. Yes, it does, but how does it do that? What do we want the dog to do, and how do we want to do it, and how is the dog doing that? Okay, why is the dog doing what we are wanting them to do? Okay, so there's information everywhere. Anytime that you're interacting with your dog, you're giving your dog information about what is important to them, and the dog starts to discern through experience which information is important and at what time. Okay, so if you regularly take your dog out for a walk, you know, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock in the morning, and you get up and move towards the cupboard where your shoes are kept, the dog is putting those two pieces of information together. Time of the day, moving towards that cupboard means I'm going to go out for a walk. Okay, now say during the day you never take your dog out for a walk in the afternoon, okay, and you move towards the same cupboard to get something else, the dog will start going, well, that's not relevant to me. Okay, so you see how the dog's picking up information from the environment about what things mean. If we are driving down the street and you see a red traffic light, that red traffic light gives us information, and the information it gives us is stop your car, okay, put your foot on the brake and stop your car, or else, and it is or else you may crash, or else you may get a ticket. Okay, so that you see how the red light is information about what we are expected to do and the consequences for doing or not doing that behaviour. Okay, so stop at a red traffic light, we get safety, proceed through a red traffic light, and then it's unsafe. Okay, alright, so when we're using a clicker, okay, clicker gives information to the dog, and the information it gives to the dog is and the information that it gives to the dog. Okay, so it's not just important that it gives information to the dog, it's what information it gives to the dog and what the motivation is. So the dog does a behaviour that we like during training, and we click, and then we give the dog a treat. So there's two pieces of information that the clicker communicates to the dog, or we communicate to the dog through the clicker. Yes, you got that right. That is specifically the behaviour that I'm looking for, and here is the treat in order to reinforce that behaviour, to make that behaviour stronger or more likely in the future. Okay, so when you're walking the dog on a prong collar, okay, and the dog moves away, and you start putting pressure on the dog, the information that you are giving information to the dog through that pressure. Okay, and the information that you're giving to the dog is, if you continue to do the behaviour that I don't want you to do, I will continue to put more pressure on you, and when you do the behaviour that I want you to do, I will relieve that pressure, and that pressure is pain or discomfort. Okay, the tone, when people say that they only use the vibrate or the tone of an e-collar and they don't need to use the electricity, the application of the electricity, which is painful or uncomfortable. Okay, when they say that they only use the tone or the vibration now and the dog responds to that, it's because the dog has learned that if I pay attention to that behaviour, I will not get the application of electricity, and if I don't pay attention to that the information of that tone or vibration, then I will get the painful or uncomfortable application of the electricity. Okay, so it's with all of these things, having a critical eye of the information that we're that we're receiving, and to say, is that valid, rather than just accepting that that's the case. And I fully invite you to do that with this information here, okay? With a caveat that, okay, this is not an open forum to discuss or promote or endorse the use of aversive training, okay? So I don't allow that on my page, and I don't allow it because I don't have the time, and nobody ever changes their mind through these arguments or these discussions. It's basically people telling me that I'm wrong, and then me trying to say no, that I'm not on this, okay? Yeah, so but I do invite you to think about what I'm saying critically, and if you agree with it, cool, and if you don't agree with it, that's fine as well, okay? But at least you're thinking about it, okay? So what information, it gives information to the dog, yes it does. What information does it give to the dog, and how does it give that information, okay? And it's either the information that I'm giving you is, if you do this, a pleasant consequence will happen, or a consequence that you like will happen, or if you do this, a consequence that you don't like may happen, okay? All right, so it's just thinking about things. All right, so thanks very much for watching this, and I'll catch you next time.